Hey, Jen.
Hey, Kevin.
Look at all of this. So come November, are you sad that all your work is starting to die off and the color's going away? Or are you happy because you're getting a break?
I kind of like both, but the most important to me is that all the hard work that we did throughout the year, spring, summer, fall, you want to also protect it in the winter, right? So there's a number of things that need to happen, and I think there's three top ones for me, which is water, clean up, and then protect all those plants.
All right, let's go through those. I'm surprised to hear water is first on the list, right? I mean, I'm watering when it's hot out and it's the middle of summer.
Right. Okay, so statistically, October and November are really dry months.
Yeah.
And then typically it freezes in December, right? So what you want to do is keep those plants water. Think of natural rainfall when water soaks into the ground. You don't want it too soggy, but it is the insurance card that you're going to keep those alive, because think of it this way also, December to March, they don't get one drink.
So this is the last drink for them before they go to bed, so make sure they actually have a drink.
Right, especially broadleaf evergreens, needled evergreens, and new plantings.
Oh, okay. So water was the first. What was second on the list?
Cleanup.
Cleanup. So let's talk about the cleanup. What are we doing?
Okay.
Are we pruning the bejesus out of everything?
Well, there's all different things, right? There's perennials, and let's start there.
All right.
So perennials, this is an echinacea, a coneflower. All your perennials you want to cut to bed, right? You want to cut them all the way back to the bed. So what I do is take it, I'm not going to cut this one because it's still looking pretty good and it's in a pot, but I'm going to take it back to 2 inches tall. Most perennials you want to cut back to 2 inches tall, right?
And you'll be okay doing that because they won't look this good, right?
They won't look
at this
good.
point, they're saggy.
They're going to be brown and slimy,
Yeah.
and then you're just going to want to just have it clean and tidy.
And just so we know, the perennials are the ones that come back every year no matter what.
Correct.
Whereas
So
the
they
perennials...
These are the annuals, these are the bulbs,
Right.
these are the perennials. Perennials come back every year. Annual means you have to put them in annually. So this will be all brown and slimy as well. This is a mum, and you just pull it out of the ground, and if you have bulbs, I typically like to put them in the place of that hole.
Oh, that's
Or you
clever.
could just fill it with compost so it's ready for the next year in your next round of annuals.
Toss that into your compost pile so it's ready to go next year.
Exactly, compost it.
And bulbs are big too because these things can only go in the ground certain times of the year. What do you got here? These are tulips. Oh,
These are tulips, and they have to go
flowers.
in the ground
Wow.
during this time of year, because you can't put them in for the spring. They have to do their thing in the ground. And when you plant them, you could even put 5, 7, 8 in a hole.
Right.
Then you'll have a big bouquet.
But the key is they got to go in now.
They have to go in now, otherwise they're not going to bloom.
Okay.
Here's another one. It's an ornamental grass, right?
Coming in.
Sorry
It's
about
all right.
that. So this is a twofold, right? You could either leave it up all winter, because it'll turn that brown, beautiful tan. It adds winter interest to your gardens. Birds love it because they'll take the pieces and make a nest. But sometimes you see them planted in parking lots, and because they're so durable. And then those people want to cut them back.
So these are perennials.
These are
So
perennials.
eventually they're going to get cut back. So we can do that now.
You could do it now, but typically what you're supposed to do is cut them back in late winter. So that in New England, that's February,
Oh, I
early
got
March.
you. I got
So
you.
what you just want to get it before the new growth comes out. You could see how they cut this one back in the pot. To me, it still looks a little messy because this is where they cut it back last year.
So that's last year's growth. That's died back.
Yeah, but if I cut it back right here,
A little lower.
yeah, it's just not apparent and your eye doesn't go to it. My eye goes to brown things. I
Yeah.
want to get rid of them.
So late December if you don't want the winter interest. If I do want the winter interest and all this stays,
Yep.
you can get rid of that.
Yeah.
I do it, what, then in the spring?
Yes. February or early March.
Oh, that early.
Before all the new growth starts
Gotcha.
to emerge.
Okay, so that was water, that was clean up, and your third was protect.
Protect. You want to protect what you've done all season, right? So we clean that up, we cut it back. Insulation. So think of all that water that you put in. You want to mulch the areas. So you could use bark mulch, you could use hay.
You put mulch down in November? I put it down in the spring to make everything look beautiful.
Well, you don't have to, but if you have a brand new plant that you want to protect, and then for it to look all tidy during the season, that's what you want to put like 2 to 4 inches down, right? It depends on the area.
What's the protection then? What am I protecting? Everything's fine. It's November,
Okay,
right?
so when the hard freeze hits, the roots are still very tender underground, right? So it acts like, if you have it 2 to 4 inches above the ground, it acts as an insulation layer, and it helps moisture retain in the ground.
Okay, so mulch goes down, and then in
Wait,
terms of...
one more thing. You could also use the leaves that have fallen off the tree, right?
yeah.
So, but what you want to do is shred them up, because if you put just the leaves themselves, they could form a cakey mat. packed. So if they're shredded, they're going to break down easier.
Okay.
Okay.
In terms of the sort of evergreens, this is juniper, correct?
This is juniper, and this is a ground cover type. They're really bulletproof, salt tolerant, durable. You don't really need to do much to this.
But something a little bit more fragile, boxwood, right?
Yep, so good. Look at you with your plant.
I'm learning.
So this is considered a broadleaf evergreen, and these leaves could get the moisture sucked right out of them if they're in a windy area, or if they're planted along a walkway or sidewalk that you salt during the winter. It's going to rip that moisture right out, right? So there's a couple things we could do. This stuff right here, it's an anti-desiccant, and what it does, it coats the leaves. So if you look at the back of these leaves, there's pores on it, right? And so what it does is help seal those pores, and so the water does not rip out of it.
And I can literally just go
Douse
around
it.
the entire thing.
Yep.
Gives it a coating. We're good to go.
Exactly.
Anti-desiccant. And what do you got for this?
Wait, before we go to that,
Yes.
I have twine. So a lot of people don't like to put
No,
burlap
looks-
around their
looks
plants,
rare.
but some people do. If you have a high traffic area that needs protection, you have to use that. But sometimes with snow, people just gently take this around.
Yep.
And so when the snow comes, all you have to, it'll help hold it in place, because a lot of these get splayed out.
We don't want the snow and ice to actually pull these guys down,
Exactly.
damage the plant, snap it off like that.
You're right. So
And now my hand is anti-dessiccanted it. All right.
it'll be waterproof.
So when do you use this? And what's the proper way to use the burlap?
Okay, so when you take this, what we're gonna do is wrap it. But you don't wanna wrap it too tight that it constricts the plant. You want it to help keep its natural form.
You said high traffic area?
High traffic area, snow areas, salt areas, and really, really windy areas.
So you're
That'll
around it
damage the plant.
completely.
So you wanna wrap it around, right?
Yep.
You tuck it in, you grab that twine there,
I'm grabbing this.
right? And of course, it would look a little bit different if it was in the ground.
Right. So you want a light tie? Mm-hmm. I'm gonna give you a knot right here.
Perfect.
I don't like the look of this either, but
But if it's gonna protect your investment,
I mean, if it's mature and you know it's going to get beat up, you're just going to have to bite the bullet and do it. How's this? Loose?
that's
Tight?
a little loose. You can tighten it up a little bit. But the other benefit is this burlap, the wind can penetrate through, water could get through, but it's not so much that it's gonna harm the plant.
Okay.
So that's great.
So water,
Yep,
clean,
Yep.
protect, we're good to go.
that's right. And then you wake up in the spring and it's go time again.
Look at the smile. Ready for go time. Thank you, Jen.
You're welcome.
Can I anti-desiccant? Thanks for watching. This Old House has got a video for just about every home improvement project, so be sure to check out the others. And if you like what you see, click on the subscribe button to make sure that you get our newest videos right in your feed.